So as everybody knows, Mondami won New York, and I'll first go into one of the things I like about him before I go into the thing that I really don't like about him. So the first thing, obviously, was there was an interview. I think it was like months ago, but I couldn't find it. But it was they were talking about Israel and New York, and everyone was talking about what were they gonna do to something about the Jewish people in New York and all that. And a lot of them were saying, "Oh, we're gonna visit Israel in order to kind of like help the Jewish people that way." And one person said something like, "We're gonna visit Israel and Ukraine, our two greatest allies, and that's what I'm gonna do." And then Zoran Mondami was like, "No, I'm gonna stay in New York. I'm gonna stay in New York because I care about New York. I don't care about another country." And that was a goaded answer, which is you're running for New York. You're not running for Israel. Hell, you're not even running for California or Florida. You're running for New York. So the whole idea simply is I'm running for New York. I care about New York. I'm going to stay in New York and I'm going to do everything I want in New York. But he's going to officially go into office, I think, like in a little less than 2 months, I believe. Because I think, yeah, a little less than 2 months. But the whole thing about it is they're obviously going to be like democratic socialism. And now let me guys show you, like, they're going to be like, oh, the millionaires, the billionaires, all that stuff. Let me show you this. Here it is. Oh, you see this? Oh, Elon Musk is my biggest threat because he has $1 billion. What about New York? $1 trillion. To give you an example, what Elon Musk makes is the equivalent of pocket change for New York. Pocket change. But yeah, the whole thing about New York is that, which is New York makes more money than all these billionaires combined from taxes alone. And you're telling me they don't have the money to get rid of the rats, the crime, and everything there? No, 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 that ain't fucking true. It's corruption, it's obviously money laundering, and it's obviously a bunch of financial schemes done by people in the background. And that's how New York is ran. And there's hundreds of, like, so many people have left New York to go to other states because of how unaffordable New York is and how bad it is there. And Zoran Mondami's idea to fix New York is, oh, we're going to tax rich people even more. When realistically, like, if you make $1 million, you're already losing like 50% of all your revenue in New York. And that's going into like so many different types of taxes. And he's going to says, I'm going to increase it more. I'm going to make store owned grocery stores. I'm going to make the buses faster, which, I mean, to be honest, I don't know about making the buses faster. That one sounds dumb. He should have said, I'm going to make more buses around the city to actually know that wouldn't even work because there's so many cars in New York. But all that stuff. Then he said about the grocery stores. We're going to make city owned grocery stores and we're going to make government owned buildings, which, like, with cheap rent. And all this stuff is going to be funded by more taxes, which just inevitably means that you're going to be paying for everything the government's handing out to you. But the reason socialism never works, communism, whatever, or democratic socialism, whatever the fuck you want to call it, because let's be honest, as Vladimir Lenin said, socialism's goal is to lead to communism. Or like, but the whole thing is the state enforces everything, the state is everything, and nobody owns anything, and we're gonna take the means of production. I'll get to Marxist theory real quick, which is a stateless, classless society where the what you call it, where the workers owns the means of production. Now let's get to this real quick, which is if the workers own the means of production, how are you going to enforce who owns anything? Because That literally just means that people are going to have to enforce who owns what with guns of their own. Like, because you can't expect people to be like, oh, I own this, and there's no police, and some guy not to just shoot them. That's the first one. So you need a state to enforce that in the first place, which then would mean that the state owns it, and everyone else just gets to use it from the state. But then you get to the classless society, and the thing about it is, every single socialist dictatorship always has the same thing: extremely wealthy people running everything, and everyone else is worried about eating food. Eating food. So what are they going to do? They're going to be eating dogs and cats for survival. Then you get to a classless society, and the fact is, like, there is a class. It's called the people in power and everybody else. There's that. So it doesn't even fucking make sense. It's a retarded ass idea that has like no actual standing in reality. But all of that stuff aside, it really shows that it really shows that like a bunch of these people in New York are fucking dumbasses. Because you've been Democrat for God knows how long, nothing's got better. So now you're gonna go even more extreme Democrat. Because the thing is, Chris Cuomo was a shitty pick. Chris Cuomo was a shitty pick. But it was basically the equivalent of, are you going to choose the same people that you chose for the last God knows how many years in order to run the place the same way that they always do that doesn't fix anything? Or are you going to pick the crazy guy that's going to use the same idea that's failed over and over and over again in every other country? And you're going to hope he succeeds at it this time, even though like 30 plus countries tried it, failed, and then left the system because they all think it's trash. Well, like, yeah. Then you get to that, and they're going to try it again. The worst part is, I saw a lot of annoying, like, young women being the ones that were happy about this. And let's be honest, they look like they're rich. A lot of them look like they were just rich upper class white women. The pain of society. But yeah, let's get into this. This interview was before all the elections were won. I just want to get into what Ron DeSantis was saying.
With concern over potential victory for Zoran, as we affectionately call him, Kami Marxist Mamdani in New York City tonight. Well, some New York residents, they are threatening to flee Florida. A whopping 9% are saying they are about to leave if, in fact, Mamdani holds on and wins this race by a significant margin. Joining me now from the free state of Florida, Governor Ron DeSantis, my governor.
Oh, and here's the worst part. Every fucking time, New Yorkers are like, oh, New York is so great. I love New York. Then why the fuck are you here? Why the fuck are you here with your I love New York shit? Oh, New York was such a great place. Then why did you leave it? Why did you leave that refugee camp and come to my state and bring that I love New York bullshit here? But yeah, it sucks ass. It's not all New Yorkers. A lot of New Yorkers are just like, yeah, that place was shitly run. But there is a amount of annoying ones. Have to deal with them every fucking day.
Okay, I'm literally in
Plus, you guys suck at driving.
Tears. I'm having a hard time keeping a straight face, only for this reason. I have really funny friends, and my funny friends are sending me. One is a meme of the Statue of Liberty, you know, sitting down, smoking a cigarette. F it, I'm going to move to Florida. The other one has a picture of Mamdani, and it says, Realtor of the Year in the state of Florida. It's cracking me up.
Yeah.
Well, first, Sean, I'm glad you cleared up that you're not going to Ireland, because if it was a trade where Florida had to give up Hannity in exchange for Rosie O'Donnell, I would veto that trade.
Oh, hell no, not Rosie O'Donnell. Nah, she can fucking stay there. Nobody wants her ass. Nobody fucking wants that bitch.
State of Florida, don't you worry about that. Listen,
I'm grateful I have a good governor.
There you go. This is a guy, Mamdani. He wants to take down the Columbus statue. I've already said if they take that from Manhattan, we'll take it in Florida. Hey, if they want to put...
Oh, yeah, we agree. Here's the thing. I know The thing is, Columbus was Spanish, but I think he came in the 1400s, and I'm surprised a lot of people when they were talking about Columbus, they didn't even know that it was like 1400s he came, and like, yeah, he later did get prosecuted for his crimes. But the thing about it is, whether or not you like him, he is a part of history. So I generally don't agree with destroying historical artifacts, even if it's even if it's like statues of like communist dictators. I generally don't. Yeah, generally don't. Just because like these things are usually part of history, so I would rather them be preserved as being like, yeah, this guy was a retard, or this guy was this guy was that. But whatever. But the whole idea of it is that you should feel ashamed for your ancestors past, what they did, blah blah blah. And the people who usually have these views, their ancestors weren't successful, failed miserably at making good societies, and everything. Because like that's the whole idea, which is my ancestors ran everything, were perfect, and never did anything wrong. Like, bitch, the Indians were busy fighting each other to the death. The Aztecs were sacrificing people. Whatchamacallit. People in Africa, like, to this day have slavery and are lynching gays. And whatchamacallit. Like, Islam, too. Islam took over, like, what was it? Like, 20 different Christian countries, and that's how the Crusades started. Like, everyone's ancestors have done something fucked up. Like, the Germans know this because of Hitler and all that stuff, too. Everyone's ancestors have done something fucked up. But the idea that you should feel ashamed of what your ancestors did and accomplished to make such a great, great society above the standards of everybody else's. And you should feel ashamed because that person who's speaking to you, their ancestors sucked ass at it. I'm just gonna straight up say it. Fucking losers. They're fucking losers who are lazy pieces of shit who just want to claim their ancestors built everything, when in reality their ancestors were just shit at colonizing, unlike other people's ancestors who were just far better at it. Like, bro, like white people literally went across the ocean for 6 months to get goddamn seasoning for their food. Seasoning. That's what they were doing before in the past. The same thing with Spanish, like the same thing with the Spanish and the British, like everything. They took over so many places, and hell, Latin America, the reason they all speak Spanish is because they were colonized so badly that Spanish is the main language in all of them. But yeah, now we can continue.
The Statue of Liberty in Lake Okeechobee. We'll get that done as well. But I think he's going to win, and I think it's an incredible act of ballistic podiatry, shooting yourself in the foot by New York City voters. I mean,
Agree.
this is a guy who does embrace Marxist economics. He claims he's going to lower everyone's costs by having the government run grocery stores, and the only people that would think that would work are people who have never studied a lick of history. He's also somebody that after 9/11, he said how bad it was that his aunt was on a subway and got dirty.
Oh yeah, I remember that. Yeah, the worst victim of 9/11 was my aunt. Yeah, 'cause she got dirty looks. And I remember someone on Twitter proved him wrong because they showed pictures of her and she never wore a hijab. But yeah, the biggest victim of 9/11 was his aunt. Oh, poor her. Not the poor people who had their families die in 9/11. And guess what? There's a huge difference too between like a good example I would say is between 9/11, the Holocaust, slavery in America, or even like other historic events, which is that like slavery in America. Nobody lives today that experienced slavery in America. Like everyone who did is dead now. Then the Holocaust, Holocaust and World War II, almost everyone who experienced it is about to die. There's very few of them left, and I'm pretty sure everyone who experienced World War One is. I'm 99% sure they're all dead at this point. But then when you go to 9/11, what, 24 years ago, there's a huge amount of people that experienced that event and know about what happened and can tell you the stories of it, every aspect of it, because they're still alive. And a lot of these people today would be like what? Be like what, 30, 40? Like that's their general ages. 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 80, 90. A lot of them today still experience that event. So, yeah, when you go, "Oh, the worst thing was my aunt had to experience that." It's like, "Fuck your aunt." My family fucking died, and to this day people are still feeling effects of when the buildings fell and breathing that air. Like those people are actually alive.
He never expressed the sympathy in that regard that for all the people that got murdered. He's also embraced
Mhm.
George Soros style soft on crime policy.
Oh my god, George fucking every goddamn time. I hate that name appearing.
He hates the NYPD. If you look at his history,
Yep.
he is not going to stand up for law enforcement. And what I found on all this, Sean, is yes, his tax policy is going to be crazy, anti-business, all that. But the
Yep.
number one thing that moves people to want to flee these jurisdictions is the collapse of public safety.
Mhm.
And I think he's going to make the de Blasio reign look like the golden age.
I'm talking about a math problem in New York City, New York State, and, for example, in the last 3 years, nearly 250,000 people left the state of New Jersey. That is a math problem, and I
Yep.
mean this sincerely. I wanted Mamdani to lose for my friends that remain in New York.
Tell them to fucking leave. It's over. New York was already bad, but tell them it's over, man. Tell them to leave. Let all the liberal arts majors and commie sympathizers stay there. That's great. You're the means of production. Which one of you is willing to work for everyone else to be lazy while you work as hard as possible to keep the electricity running, to keep the city running, to keep the water running, to keep the public safe? Yeah, good job. Let's see which one of you lazy ass Marxist theory lovers is gonna step up and have your means of production redistributed for everyone else to be lazy.
Wanted Chitterelli to win. I don't know if you know this, but I went up and I did a town hall. Polls showed that he had a shot. I wanted to give him an opportunity to make his case, but math does not lie. Losing 250,000 residents in the last 3 years from his last election, that is an overwhelming number.
Yep.
Can you explain to the country exactly how profound mass migration has been out of states like New York and New Jersey and Illinois and even California, and what a positive impact it's having on states like Florida, Texas, the Carolinas, Tennessee?
Yep.
Well, first of all, Jack would have won 4 years ago, and he would have won tonight if you just take all the Republicans who left New Jersey since I've been governor and moved to Florida. If they could have still voted in New Jersey.
Oh yeah, we accept Republicans in Florida. If you're a Democrat, just look. This is what I want you guys to do. If you're a Democrat, we have alligators. We have a lot of mosquitoes. So don't come here. It's like Australia. It's worse than Australia. Just don't come here. Just travel to Illinois or California instead. Yeah, just please go there. And those are definitely safer cities than Florida. But if you're a Republican, come in. We wholeheartedly accept you.
He would have won both of those races. Same thing with New York City. Maybe not a Republican, but Giuliani would not be able to win with this electorate the way it is now. Because what happens, Sean, is a leftist politician gets in, whether it's destroying a state like California, Illinois, New York, whether it's a city like New York City or Chicago. And the people that it tends to drive off are the center-right voters. And so when they leave, the resulting electorate is actually more liberal. That's how you go from Lori Lightfoot to Brandon Johnson. It is actually more liberal. That's how you go from Lori Lightfoot to Brandon Johnson in Chicago, which is digging the hole deeper. That's why.
Brandon Johnson, the worst fucking run city in America. Oh my god. Bro had a 6% approval rating. That's how you know he's shit.
Why you've gone from 8 years at de Blasio, now leapfrogging here 4, to have Mamdani, who's even going to be worse. And what we found in Florida is, first of all, we're not asking for anyone to move. I mean, people have talked about putting a tariff on people moving
I agree.
at this point because so many have done so. And I know a lot of people in Florida would think that that would be necessary. But here's just the truth.
Damn.
You look at all 49 other states since I've been governor and look at who's migrated to Florida, all 49 more Republicans have moved to Florida than Democrats. Vermont, New York, Illinois, you name it. And the result of that is not just migration, because we've had a lot of people shift within Florida. But when I got elected, we had 300,000 more registered Democrats in Florida. Today, we have 1.4 million more Republicans.
Nice.
Nobody has ever seen a change that profound.
Well, Wall Street South is real. Every investment firm, every big bank, every private equity firm, they are all down in Florida. Anyway, Governor DeSantis, thank you as always, and I'm grateful to be in your free state of Florida. Thank you for having me. Hey, Sean Hannity here.
Yep, free state. But anyways, now I want to get into 50 Cent. 50 Cent, dude, this man had beef with what happened, and I wholeheartedly agree with him. Look, we'll take you down in Florida. Just don't bring any of that libtard shit here. Anyway. There it is. Yeah.
Hey man, here we go again. Another day, another headline out of New York City. So apparently New York done went and elected a brand new governor. And guess who's not feeling it? Your boy, Curtis 50 Cent Jackson.
Of course he's not feeling. He a businessman. That's the thing. He a businessman, so he knows about this bullshit. Yeah. Look at man, New York. I remember he even was gonna give him I think it was nearly $300,000 to fucking leave.
Bruh, 50 Cent saw the news and said, nah, pack it up. The city's done. We gonna break down exactly what he said, why he said it, and why 50 Cent been acting like the unofficial mayor of Petty for the last 20 years. Alright, so boom. The new governor, Zoran Mandani, he's like the definition of progressive politics.
I've proposed is that we raise $10 billion to pay for our entire economic agenda and start to Trump-proof our...
Wait a minute, raise $10 billion. Wait a minute. How the fuck is that gonna work? So, you go from 2.3 trillion to instead 2 trillion 332 billion, and somehow it's gonna magically fix all your problems. Yeah, good fucking job, like great economic plan, man. You're totally gonna succeed.
City, because we know he'll use federal funding as leverage over the city, and we will do so in two key ways. The first is to match the state's top corporate tax rate to that of New Jersey. We are at 7.25%, they're at 11.5%. Corporations can pay it over there, they can pay it over here. And the beauty of it is that it doesn't just apply to corporations headquartered in New York City, because when you say this, people will say, well, they're going to go to Florida. Wherever you are headquartered, as long as you do business in the state of New York, you are taxable for that corporate tax. We're talking about corporations that are making millions of dollars, not in revenue, but in profit. And the second is taxing the top 1% of New Yorkers. We're talking about people who make $1 million a year or more, taxing them just by a flat 2% tax increase. And I know 50 Cent is...
Oh, yeah, wait, let me show you this. Since he's talking about it, let's go to Grok, because I'm going to show you guys a tip. $1 million or more. I'm going to do this without any, any special tax exempt. I'm just going to do it like they earn $1 million a year. Anyways, here we go. Let's ask Grok, because I'm not gonna do all that fucking calculations. So we go here, and once it's done, there it is. So after that, total taxes, your take-home pay is $568,000. So yeah. Yep. Take home roughly that amount. But that's a lot of fucking money. That's a lot of fucking money. But don't go to New York.
listening, he's not going to be happy about this. He tends to not like this tax policy, but I want to be very clear. This is about $20,000 a year. It's a rounding error. And all of these things together, they make every New Yorker's life better, including those who are actually getting.
My man out here talking about raising taxes on millionaires, free public transit, helping out the working class, all that.
When they say free, 99% of the time they just mean they're going to tax the middle class and the rich people most. It's actually that simple.
Robin Hood energy. Meanwhile, 50 Cent looking at that like, hold up, little bruh. You trying to raise my taxes? You better chill before I move back to Houston. Y'all remember, 50 Cent already left New York years ago. He said the city is too expensive, too many rules, too many rats. Now he sees Mondani's win, and he's like, RIP NYC. 1924 to 2025. Bro actually posted a tombstone that said that. Fam, the internet went crazy. Back it up, New York is done. And an image of the Yankees had in the trash can. This man had the whole city in their feelings. People in the comments like, nah, 50, you tripping. Others like, he right. Rent $4,000 for a studio and we still riding the train. And the funniest part, he said he bought Magnani a one-way ticket out of New York and even offered to pay him $258,000 to leave.
That's a lot of money.
That's not even trolling no more. That's billionaire level disrespect. Now, let's keep it 100. 50 got legit reasons he's salty. One, taxes. He's rich. When you start talking about taxing the millionaires, 50 Cent hear that like a diss track. Two, business. 50 got liquor companies, TV shows, real estate investment. That man don't want no socialist style city trying to dig in his pockets. And three, pride. 50 Cent been screaming, I'm from the South Side Jamaica Queens for decades. He sees a new political wave trying to reinvent New York and he's like, nah, this ain't the city I came up in. And honestly, I get it. It's like if you built your whole empire in a place and then somebody new come in talking about changing everything, you gonna feel a type of way. So check this. Mondani actually name dropped 50 Cent during his campaign.
You know, what I would say to you, 50, if you are indeed watching, or anyone else who's watching this show, is I continue to think that having the top 1% of New York City, who are making more than $1 million a year, having them pay 2% more for an economic agenda that would transform every New Yorker's life, including their own, is something that is worthwhile.
I know if 50 Cent is listening, he's not going to be happy about this. He tends to not like this tax policy, but I want to be very clear. This is about $20,000 a year. It's a rounding error.
Bro literally called 50 out before he even won. So 50 had the smoke loaded.
Damn.
Not only that, when Mondani won the election, you won't believe what song he came out to. Yes, a Ja Rule classic.
Oh, God. Bro, Ja Rule is fucking trash. I don't care if you like hip-hop. Ja Rule is trash. He's a lot better than a lot of new artists. But back then, when they had actual standards for hip-hop, Ja Rule was considered trash. Now he would be considered a lyrical mastermind compared to, like, what's out today.
He wants all the smoke. Now Mondani's like, we're gonna make New York fair for everyone. Meanwhile, 50 Cent on Instagram like, fair? You mean I'm paying for everybody else's Metro card? You can't make this up. All right, so let's break this down with some logic, okay? The whole thing is basically New York versus New Yorkers. You got the new governor saying we're helping the people, not the millionaires. Then you got 50 like, yo, I'm a millionaire, what about me? It's a class war, but on Instagram. And 50 Cent's always been the type to say the quiet part out loud. Other rich folks gonna stay quiet, move to Florida or Texas. 50 gonna make a meme, roast a dude, and go viral. That's his brand. Plus, let's be honest, he's probably loving the attention. Anytime 50 posted something, it's trending within an hour. This man has been in beef with rappers, TV networks, champagne company, and now it's the governor. He's undefeated. So what happens now? Mondani officially takes office in January, and 50 Cent probably already plotting his next meme. Expect him to post on his man.
That's the thing. 50 is very petty. He's been posting shit about Diddy for 20 plus years. 20 plus years. This man is petty. This man is not gonna leave.
And like, y'all still paying $8 for coffee? Couldn't be mine. And if New York actually raises taxes next year, 50 Cent gonna do a whole press tour talking about I told y'all. Low-key, I want to see a sit down between the two. Imagine 50 Cent on a Breakfast Club going off on the governor. Internet would explode. Anyways, man, that's the latest scoop coming out the Empire State. 50 done buried New.
Yeah, but that shit was real. Anyways, if you want to look at that video, but The whole thing basically is just that New York is gonna become even worse than it already is. And that's the simple thing. And the thing about Florida, too, is that shit ain't working here. You know how many people moved from Cuba and Venezuela here and know what fucking socialism actually looks like, rather than these theater kids who think that they're onto some genius economic policy that has been destroyed 30 plus times? But yeah, I feel bad for New York, but at the same time, New York voted for this, so yeah, it's a self-inflicted wound. So yeah, anyone who wants, move out of New York, leave New York, let New York rot, and yeah, that's it.